Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2011 found footage horror film, The Speak. Now this film was directed by Anthony Pearce and it stars Christina Anapau, Tina Casciani, Tom Sizemore, Brett Donahue and Michael Klinger. Now I was pointed in the direction of this film by Leo over at Geek Legion of Doom. He knows I am a fan of found footage films. One of my favourites found footage films of all time is Grave Encounters. I think that is just a brilliant found footage film. Very, very effective, very, very scary. And if you haven't seen Grave Encounters, top tip, get that one watched. It's fantastic. And he thought I would enjoy this one because it is a very similar premise to Grave Encounters. And it follows a group of filmmakers who enter a derelict building that is supposedly haunted, and as you can imagine, things go pretty bad and pretty downhill from there. Now, what are my thoughts on this film? Well, when I say that this film is similar to Grave Encounters, I think that's an understatement. It's almost a copy of Grave Encounters. Now, I'm not 100% which came out first. I suspect it was Grave Encounters that came out first, but I'm not 100% on that. This is, in my opinion, too similar to Grave Encounters. That's not to say that there aren't some effective moments here in this film, because I do think there are. It is genuinely effective occasion of this film, and frightening occasion of this film. It's the usual setup, you know, filmmakers introducing themselves. Some of them are idiots, you know, some of them aren't particularly, you're not fond of. You've got your sound guy, you've got your camera guy, you've got the presenting guy, you've got the researcher, you've got the medium. You know, it's the usual setup here. Tom Sizemore essentially plays like the caretaker who lets them into the building. And that's your lot, kind of, with him. And then once you're in the building, very similar stuff take place as what happened in Grave Encounters. You know, they can't get out of the building. It seems like all the windows are bricked up. And then the medium conducts a ceremony that called The Speak, hence the title, even though it goes by a different title as well, this film, and I can't remember, The Haunting of Park Hotel or something like that. So she performs this ritual, this medium, even though she objects to it because she knows what will happen when she does it, but she does it anyway. So she does this ritual that opens the doorway for these spirits to come through, and the spirits that are already there, essentially it gives them far more power than they had previously, if you like. And then it's a scramble for this crew to stay alive. And there's an initially, like, you know, you get the gentle escalations, the lack of understanding of what's going on by many of them, and then the slow realization and belief of what's happening and how are they all going to stay alive and things like that. And it runs with that premise then for the rest of the film. Now, found footage fans here, I mean, I have watched a lot of found footage over the last few years. It's one of my favourite genres, as I've mentioned, in the horror genre. I think it could be massively effective for found footage films if done right, and I've seen some brilliant ones, and I have done a top 10 list of my favourite found footage films, and I want to do another one. That's how much I like this subgenre. So I'm hoping maybe at some point this year, when I've watched a few more found footage films, to get a second top 10 list up of another top 10 found footage films worth checking out. And so I'm always open to watching found footage, and I have seen some stinkers over the years, some that don't really do anything new or interesting with the genre, and this kind of falls into that bracket. Although it's not a stinker, it's made well. It's what you expect from a found footage film, but it follows it almost too much to the letter, in my opinion. Now, I'm also taking into consideration here that it came out in 2011. So it's not as if if this came out today, I think people will probably be harsher on it, because it literally just follows the blueprint of a found footage film. It doesn't do anything new with it. I think found footage has to be cleverer these days. But it came out in 2011, so it still was following a roadmap that was used very heavily at that time. It's just unfortunate, if you like, that I'm watching it in 2021, 10 years after it was initially released. But I did genuinely enjoy some of the scares in the film. I thought some of the early jump scares were cheap, and I don't remember there being cheap jump scares in Grave Encounters, and some of the best found footage films they didn't need to put them in because they built up the film through genuine tension, and the performances of the actors, you could feel their fear. And some of that I thought was a bit lacking here in regards to, you know, the performances, in a sense of I didn't feel genuine fear from some of the actors through their performances. It felt like they were acting at times. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been quite harsh in this film, and I don't mean to be, really, because I did enjoy certain aspects of it. There was some of the characters I didn't like, but I'm trying to think, there was probably some characters in Grave Encounters I didn't like, and I think that's, again, you know, fairly similar. You know, Hell House as well, Hell House LLC, there were characters in that I probably didn't like, but there were also characters I really rooted for in those films, and I felt I didn't really have that here either. Not as much as I have in other found footage films. Anyway, I do feel like I've been a bit harsh on the film, but saying all that, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because I did enjoy quite a lot of it, and it is a well-made found footage film. Fans of found footage will immediately feel comfortable watching this film because it follows the blueprint fairly closely, I think. And you're in for a bit of a rollercoaster ride. You know, you get your usual tricks in that you would get in a found footage film. So 6 out of 10 I think is a fair score for this one. Check it out if you've never seen it. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I will be back with more content on Screen Stars very, very soon.